boy. I want to watch this Uncle T here, seated here.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's a great feeling. I've never shared the microphone with him. It's the first time feeling.
Oh, wow.
So you can imagine. So it is from this end. And I said, it is.
Well,
it is.
I'm highly honored to share the microphone with
Myself and Esther have shared microphone a couple of times.
Yeah.
But him, nope.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Oh, cool.
We'll drink to that.
Okay.
That's okay, sir.
Around here.
Yes, sir.
Anyways, for people drinking to that and all, because today is a very, very interesting one because we're really going to be talking about. There's a lot of issues with. I don't know why. I don't know, maybe because the APC is the ruling party, or maybe it's because their nomination form is the most expensive. But almost every day, since that nomination form has been announced, almost every day there's one gist. Half of the time yesterday, it was just Esther and I that were here. That was basically what we talked about. The people that were dropping out, the people that were coming in, and the people that did not. So, but there's always like something to talk about, yeah. And there's also going to be a lot. There's also a lot of things to talk about. Another person that has joined this. Somebody has officially bought. Yesterday we're talking about someone that has paid but has not gotten his ticket, his forms. Now someone that nobody even knew was even in the race, or when I say most people, don't let me assume for everybody. Most people, or wasn't the popular names that you heard about, has already bought, as pictures of his own is actually like going over the internet, and that's that. So there's going to be a lot of stuff concerning that angle. There's also going to be the NDLEA and presidential aspirants, what they think or what they're planning to do. There's also talks, still talking about politics. There's also gist coming from Ogun State. The governor having a little bit of what's the word now? There's a little bit of clarification in his eligibility somewhere that is definitely we're definitely going to talk about. Also, still talking about the APC guidelines. Right now, the president, from the presidency, there's officially a particular note that is sent to all political appointees, mostly ministers that want to be. There is a 72-hour window for them to resign and all that. That's part of the conversation we're going to be having. Also, Abba Kyari is in the news for two different reasons today. It's a bit about his extradition and also the NDLA. The NDLA is really on its tail as there is new information out again because of this same man. This man at this point. Let's just also talking about the APC and the PDP. Somebody moving from PDP to the APC, another person moving from PDP to the APC. It's going to be very interesting. It's a very interesting conversation today, and whatever anything else that comes up, we definitely would be talking about it as well. But I think I don't know where we should start from.
Somewhere.
I think we should start from the Minister for State. The Minister of State for Education that just bought the APC ticket. Who has ever heard of him before, or who has heard that he was vying, let me put it like that he was vying for the position?
Well, I'd just like to advise you guys to listen to Political Voyage every Monday right here on your Boom Radio with my humble self and Yemi Saka. We analyzed this situation on Monday, and of course, a little bit of gist. Word on the street, we don't know which street now, is that he is the chosen one.
From?
That there is going to be someone from the southeast that Mr. President is backing. You get? So everybody is claiming this chosen one toga, but they were like, watch it, that this guy will buy the ticket. And this was about 2-3 weeks ago.
And he bought.
And he's bought it.
In fact, he's the very first person to buy.
400 million.
100 million naira. 100 million naira. Just.
Okay. He got the president's nod, probably.
That one,
probably
I don't need
you know, there's been something about Nigerian political landscape over time. And I was speaking to a few, having a chat with a few guys about 3 weeks ago, and I said, be ready for shockers.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a very
I just have
interesting.
this intuition that the cursor you are moving, you think you are aware of the chess game, but you never know the pawn that's going to be the last pawn standing on the chessboard.
Mhm.
I'm beginning to have a feeling that we are in for big surprises. Big surprises. People who probably didn't line up before, midway, they begin to show interest. And 100 million, somebody said to me, 100 million naira, how much is that? It's that small. And I said, why? Just get 2 of your friends together or 3 of your friends together, let them share the 100, and the deal is done.
But it means that you
know?
have friends that do not, would I say, that do not need that money.
No, they do need the money.
No, it means that you have friends that are ready to drop
don't
30,
personalize,
40,
don't
50
personalize
million.
it to Tokumbo now. Because I have a feeling that's where you're going, you know.
No. Let's take it. No, not you personally,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
But it also means that you have people that are not going to, because call me a pessimist. 10, 15, 20 people, let's even say 15 people buy this ticket. And we know that from the PDP, about 17 people have already, you know, all these 30-something or 40-something, and then there's also people from other parties as well. So let's even assume we're looking at about 50 people. But there's just only one president. So, except you are assuring me that May 29, there's no president, there's no election.
Okay.
May 29,
That would be.
Mr. Buhari is handing over to me and nobody else. 100 million naira is a lot of money.
Now, you know, yeah.
And it's a gamble. That's the thing.
The joke going around really is
It's
that
a gamble.
years ago, we didn't have an explosion with our foreign exchange. And now, years after, 20 or 30 years after, the money is not balancing anymore.
Okay.
So you can push it up. But leave the money thing out. The question on the lips of many people, Dolupo, is that why is it so expensive? Why? What's the game? What's the game
You know
plan?
the funny thing?
Is it being suggested or advised because they do not want 110 people?
Well, you know that over the
to
years,
contest.
we checked it. We've been talking about
No?
this thing for the past few weeks, yeah, for the past 1 week, and we actually checked and seen that the APC's ticket has actually been the most expensive since inception.
And one could easily understand why that is.
Yeah.
Why?
You can easily understand that.
I don't know.
Why that is. I think I know why that is.
Why?
Okay, why?
Okay, now we've all been talking about the emergence of someone who not a lot of persons would ordinarily think that he would be in the race. For me, I've not been an ardent follower of politics for over a few months, and pretty much so because of what it's been in the past couple of years. You mentioned about the political landscape. It's been so dirty that you cannot beat your chest to say this is what's going to play out in another few minutes from now. Now, if you have someone like Iwajoba coming in who's supposed to be in charge of education, ask yourself big questions that comes. Who is this person? What was his role as somebody who's supposed to be a state minister for education? I didn't feel it. I mean, I'm in the education sector. I'm not sure I am too aware of what it is that he has done over time. Now, SR mentioned something very, very, very important. He said there's been this, call by some persons from the so-called minorities, we used to call them, refer them, the people from the northeast, and from the southeast rather, that they are looking for a consensus person. Now, not outside the confines of the APC, within the APC. And that it might be, he's not saying that this is the man, that it might be that this is the person that is the chosen one.
Yeah.
So if you look at Nwajoba, what does he have to offer? I don't know. But there's one thing for sure, everybody seems like this are put forth to really have a script. I just want to go out and say, I can do it myself. So if you are coming up, having a lot of people coming up to say, we can do it, can we just peg it as something very heavy so that we'll have a restriction? It's some sort of way to see them.
I think I agree with you that it's a way of restricting people.
Because we have a lot of people just emerging. Look at.
I don't agree that you should use money to restrict people. Let me explain this.
It's a big factor.
It's a factor. Yes, I agree. I'm sorry. I agree. It's a factor. Now, my concern is this. what are you coming to sell to me? How many have come out boldly to say, this is my manifesto? In fact, the word is a little bit archaic these days. Nobody uses it anymore.
The manifesto, yeah.
But what's your program? What's your policy? What's your program? What do you want to do?
Their manifesto is as big as the amount they are putting down. So tell me, if you are putting 100 million for just a form, you can imagine what these people, and yet they tell us that this is not a place where you make money from.
No.
This is a position of servitude. And is it true? From what we expect,
Okay.
from Nigerian
Okay. Well,
true?
you know, I have a little bit of a different angle to this,
Yes.
and my angle is that it's a party thing.
Hmm.
Why is it really our business? What I mean by that is because everybody that has everybody that wants to be president,
Yes.
the APC National Executive Council meeting they had was here about a week ago or so. At least virtually everybody that wants to be president was at this meeting. I think out of everybody that has been mentioned now, I think it's probably only Bola Ahmed Tinubu that was not at the meeting then, yeah. And I'm not sure he has come out even after the meeting to criticize the 100 million naira. In fact, I think that day or the day after, somebody had come up that he had signed a check that he was going to pay for his ticket, yeah. So virtually everybody that this concerns were at that meeting, including the vice president, yeah, and they all agreed to the 100 million naira.
So it's a party thing. It's
So
not
if
Nigerians' business.
that's it for me, like
It becomes
the
a business of
minute-
Nigerians when I'm coming.
The minute
There are a lot of
they
issues.
agreed to it,
Yes.
the people that want to pay the 100 million, the minute they agreed to it, I
Don't
think
look on.
it's
See,
their
this
business.
is my position in all of these things because
Yeah.
whether we like it or not, as journalists, we should be able to come out and tell people exactly what it is and what is this problem. Because there's a problem whether we like it or not. It's very easy for anybody to come and say it's a party thing, it stays within the party, and it's nobody's business. But it's our business because because the position of a president is a position of servitude. You are coming to serve. Now, if you are paid, yes,
It
is yes.
okay.
If you are coming, you're going to say yours. Now, if you are coming to pay 100 million to serve me, what is the end result? Will it mean that your serving me will cost 100 million? Does that in any way imply that you are very good, or you are so good that you want to change the narrative of Nigerians and you want to put 100 million, even in when you know that it's something that is selfless, it's something that has to do with selfless, thankless job, so to say. Let me use the word, because the position of president is much more than the money you earn as a president. It must be that you have the interest of the people, the masses at heart. You understand, sir?
Yeah.
So if you are paying 100 million naira, what does that mean? Does it not tell us that these people are coming to make more? Because if you are, some of them, as like you rightly mentioned, some of them are not even going to pay this money. Some of them, this so-called ticket would be bought for them. So if you are putting that like, okay, how much more of you wanting to become president? How much do you want to become the president of Nigeria? And say, I want to go as far as paying 100 million. It's like a bragging right thing in a party. I don't know. I'm just imagining. Now, if you're not paying 100 million, you should know that you get something much more than that, and that's what the Nigerian system offers. And it should not be that way. It should be a position whereby everybody. I mean, it should be like you want to serve Nigeria. It's a party, okay? Everybody, maybe 50,000, 100,000. Let's do it that way. I don't know how much PDP will be doing theirs.
Oh, PDP is 40 million.
40 million, whatever it is, because they are not the winning party. That's why it is that way. So it's just somehow. I know Shore's party, everybody is supposed to pick up. I don't know, maybe it has to do with clout, or it has to be because we are big. Or so. I don't know. No, Shore's party. Now everybody is not. If you want to come out for presidency, just go out and show your intentions. The national PRO, Femi Adeyeye, is like a problem that nobody is putting any money to anybody because they feel that they are coming to serve.
Really?
I think we should.
So I don't know why. I don't know.
Look, I don't agree with that. I think it's just I don't want to be pessimistic.
Yes.
But because you're not buying anything, does not mean that you have anything to offer as well. I don't think buying a ticket or not buying a ticket shows that you are there to serve or not. That's it.
I'm picking up from
what he's saying. What he's saying, Dulupo, is that why should you pay 100 million naira because you want to serve the people?
I agree with what he's
part
saying.
Of your interest
I'm just
in
saying
life,
that
is it an ambition?
The movie. Oh, we've heard some people say this is an ambition. So yeah, so I think that one is not even. Hey, we've heard when some people saying that it's a lifelong ambition. So yes, is it an ambition? Yes, that answers your question. Yes, it's an ambition.
No, not to me.
Yes, it is, according to some people.
Okay, go back here now.
So basically, what I'm saying is that when we juxtapose it with what he said with Showore's party about them not buying forms, for me, why I will not go with that narrative, or I do not agree with that narrative, is because you did not buy form or form was free, does not mean that you have anything to offer. Take for example, even the APC.
I am not even hinging my assertion on the fact that I'm only saying
take the APC too. I know that every female and every disabled person, physically challenged person, their tickets are supposed to be free. Yeah.
Why?
Oh, I'm sure that I know that one of the reasons is to encourage women, and so even if you want to be president and you're under the APC, your form is going to be free, where the men are going to have to pay 100 million naira. So all youth, if you're under 40, you're going to pay half the price, 50 million naira. My point is that because a woman, let's say she's coming out for governor and she's getting the ticket for free, does not mean that she has better.
That is what I'm even saying. I'm saying within the context of how you have placed it.
Yeah.
That 100 million is a party thing. Yes, we understand it's a party thing.
Yes,
but let's look beyond, because whatever it is a party thing is going to transcend beyond the party by the time they attain their position. Because whatever it is, the person they put out as their representation, if finally that person becomes the president, whatever it does will not be party thing anymore. It will rub off on we.
Well, you also know that
I'm coming somewhere. So I have not particularly said or asserted that you're not buying form. It's a requisite for good leadership. No, that's not my position. I'm only saying that first, let's pick it on from that place. How big, how important is Nigeria to these people first? This set of people that call themselves aspirants. Is it that Nigeria is worth 100 million, or is it that ambition is worth 100 million? That's what I'm asking. So these are the questions that we need to ask for. They are beginning really. Because for me, as far as I'm concerned, you can't come and tell me that you want to serve Nigeria. If you say 200 million, I'm sure a lot of people will bring 200 million and say they want to contest. And that does not in any way signify that they are good or they're going to make it work.
Oh yes.
But I'm only telling you that what we are seeing as a precedent is that when they come in buying form for 200 million or 100 million as it is, be rest assured that these people will be sitting somewhere calculating that they're supposed to earn that money back from somewhere.
They will not only calculate, they will work towards.
They work towards getting. So whichever they want to do, I don't know, but I'm very much sure that in the past, the only way they have done that is by putting hardship on us, in whichever way.
Okay, we're not going into the nitty gritty.
Yes, I'm saying the nitty gritty. That's what we're going into.
Getting there.
That's what I'm saying.
You're getting there gradually.
So how big is Nigeria to these people? Is it ambition or is that? It's for me. It's a lot of money.
No, I think another question from you, if you help me, let me help you.
Yes, sir.
Maybe another question should be, what exactly is the party using the money for?
Okay, I don't want to sound like I'm an APC person.
No, please.
I'm just trying to look at it from like everybody's angle, and I will still go back to the angle of it's a party thing. Why? Because everybody that pays, let's say 15 people pay 100 million. You paying 100 million does not guarantee you getting the party's ticket.
But of course,
it just gives you an opportunity to contest at the primaries. Yeah, and even that, it means that you would have passed the screening.
Yeah.
So it means that you have. So buying 100 million. Why I would not maybe agree also with that is because I might want to serve, but unfortunately, the party I find myself in, I have to get 100 million, and I see people that crowdfund and pay.
So once you not get to that position,
so it's not my money.
So how do you do it?
It's not my money that got me there, and then I win the ticket, and one way or another, I win the presidency. Because I paid 100 million doesn't also mean that I do not have good intentions. Also does not mean that I have good intentions.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Okay,
I don't think the paying of the 100 million is
a problem.
is an issue.
It's an issue. I want to tell you why it's an issue. See, I don't want to come here.
It should be an issue.
Yes, I'm not going to come here.
Okay.
Coming also say about assertiveness, like say, I know these people.
By the way,
But-
Shola is quiet. He's thinking of how to get
Yes,
100
how to
million.
how to get into the conversation.
He's really.
He wants to know how to get into the conversation. Okay, how to get the 100 million.
That is the problem.
No, he's thinking of if one of these people just give me 100 million.
If by
now,
any
you know
chance
what I can
there
use
is
it
a
for?
100 million, if by any chance, I'm going to say this to Shola, if by any chance he has a 100 million, of course, we have a very big project at hand. I mean, shouldn't that 100 million stay here? Because nobody's going to call us. Nobody's going to call us and say, oh man, I gave you this. I mean,
No,
when,
can we take another topic?
No, we're not.
but here, this is where I am, Delupo.
Okay.
My position is 100 million.
Yeah.
Let me say I'm this person that wants to serve. Like Buhari, he came with this swagger like, this man, he has one house in Katsina.
Yeah.
And I'm putting the name to this now because what we're meant to believe, even because I think I was quite young when he was first a president.
State.
And I learned a lot about how
What year was he
effective-
head of state though?
85. I think I was just 4 years old or
Okay.
3 years old then.
Alright.
So
Moving on.
I learned a lot about how he was so huge, big, he was doing everything. We had so many things. The discipline was top notch then. And how government officials were limited. They were not put to this extravagant lifestyle. Good to know. But this is 35 years after. That was when he was coming in. And a lot of us felt, yes, we can repeat the same. Especially as we know that one of the major cancer in our linen has always been corruption. So if this man is using it as a token, I say, corruption, no, that's my, everybody like, this is the change we need.
Everybody
Let's
thought
start from
that
there.
was change,
And
yeah.
now, I'm sure that 100 million, from what we heard of Buhari, I don't know how Food said he doesn't have such an amount of money somewhere. But some persons rallied around him and got him that money.
No, I think then,
I'm
I think
coming.
it was 40 million.
Whatever it is then, 40 million, they rallied around and got him that money.
Yeah.
This man got in and he even told us, he gave a lot of good statements, succinct statements. That's what a lot of people spoke about, wrote about. Even I read a lot of columns then. People were saying, I'm for nobody, I'm for this, and everything was like, yes, we have our man. This one not listen. Over time, everything changed. And everything we were hoped for changed all of a sudden.
Well,
And in my
that's
mind,
personal to you.
it's personal to me, yes. But I'm putting in this context of this
Perception,
argument now. Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
And I'm saying that if we know Buhari to be that kind of person, or people used to know back then, what if that person, I'm just saying now that if I imagine somebody to be a very good person, what if he gets in there and that being good
That
changes?
whole thing changes.
So how old will that being good be when he's in governance? I mean, we know him pre-governance. What if
the
he
thing,
gets,
you
I'm
never
coming,
know.
so when he gets to power, will he still be that same person of old? Will he still be that good? Will he say, okay, now that this person gave me 100 million, there's a need for me to now join the
Are
party?
you trying to tell me that the money
Yes.
that they are paying
Yes.
will also at a point in time become their leverage to
To do certain
be
things.
proficient,
And yes,
yeah?
and yes, to stand him and say,
So
well,
it means that those who are collecting the forms free or
Yes.
freely at the moment,
yes,
okay,
yes.
also won't have a say when it comes to governance.
How? Because they
To
will say
be
you,
honest,
you did not get this,
You
you got this option on the platter.
to be
According-
honest, to
on
be
the
honest
platter.
with you,
Okay.
this is what he picked up was
Yes.
when we were talking about the bills, bills that concerns women in the House of Assembly, where there was a lot of talk about how there should be a particular, and this was my fear. I'm like that. The reason why I don't believe in the fact that women should be given forms for free, or there should be a reduction, or there should be special seats, is because when it comes to things like this, at some point people would look down at the fact that you got this on a platter.
Yes.
It's not something. It's if we're really on with gender equality. Let everybody be
run on the same leverage.
For me, it is more of let everybody have the same opportunities, and then whoever wants to go. Not that you give somebody has to pay 100 million. Explain to me, a woman comes to you, of course it's going to be free for her. She wants to be president. And then I'm not saying that what's it called, but I can almost be certain that she cannot win the presidential ticket.
The
APC presidential ticket. It's almost certain.
Don't go that way. Don't go that way.
I know that we don't want to assume,
Okay,
but it's almost certain.
I think I told her line
In the
because
Nigerian system,
in the Nigerian system,
the Nigerian
I don't
system,
see it happening.
even the few women that are there have to.
As I'm
Well,
sitting here,
actually,
I can on my own.
How
say,
many women do we have up now? How many?
In the
in
APC,
I think
none.
about no.
There's
I
some,
hear two. It's
Two.
but I've yet to pronounce. I hear two.
We have two.
I hear two.
Yeah, I hear two
Yeah,
too.
I
Okay,
hear two,
I hear
yes.
two.
Yes.
So right now, you are saying indirectly that, hey, Mrs. or Madam or Doctor, Mrs. or Professor, Mrs.
Yes.
You better just shit your soul and sit down. Don't bother to.
no,
go.
you know, also, you know why I would, not because she's a woman, yeah? I would always go back to the example of Okonjo-Iweala. She didn't become the Director General of World Trade Organization because they looked at her and, okay, let's give her because she's a woman. She was given because she was qualified.
Okay,
Yes.
stop.
Had
Yes.
absolutely nothing to
Yeah.
do with
Yeah,
her gender.
yeah.
And that's where I'm going to. What are the structures, as you as the woman, that you want to be president? What are the structures that you have put in place? Take it or leave it. There are a few people that you know for a fact that these people have major structures on ground. It's the same thing that goes by with a lot of parties that is not the APC or the PDP. They don't have the structures
Okay.
these people have.
Okay.
So,
Now you're talking about structures.
Yes.
You see, we're getting close to where I'm going. Where the 100 million becomes a value.
you've come to a point.
value.
You have come to
Yeah.
a point where
Yeah.
I'm going to speak for the first time today. It's been 30 minutes and I've learned a lot from this.
Gotten 100 million already?
Yeah, I just got the alert now.
Fantastic.
God
So,
win.
Fantastic.
God win.
So I was one of the advocates for allowing women compete for free. And you see, we tend to assume a lot of things and think that there's a level playing field where there's none.
No, there isn't.
And again, it's a two-way street. But women have been getting the wrong end of every deal available in this country when it comes to politics and everything. Education,
Yeah,
health,
I agree.
everything.
Sports.
And who are the people making these policies? Men. Men have succeeded in keeping the women back. And I said, and I'm glad they did it, I said, the only way we can start the process of allowing more women come into the game is to give them the forms for free.
To start with. No, I think
Let
that's
it
what you
start
want.
it.
Let it start first, okay? That's another angle.
There's several women out there, you spend time with them, intelligent, smart. But you see, they do not know how to navigate this thing because you, men, have created some kind of stupid structures around everything to keep them down. So the bold ones, to the bold women who have come out, make it easier for them. Because why? That example will trickle down. That example will trickle down. And it's not a Nigerian thing, it's a global thing. Only how many months ago did America get the first woman as a vice president? And this woman would probably not have gotten there if America did not allow the first girl to go to school. The first black girl to go to school a few years ago. When did women start voting in America? So, let us not act like we're in isolation of the global issues. There are global issues that are not only localized in Nigeria. So, I repeat, and I'm speaking at the top of my voice,
I noticed.
giving women that opportunity is just to kickstart the process. First things first. Allow them to even come out. Because for a woman now, maybe she's married or she's single or she works somewhere and she has ideas and she feels that she can be the next House of Assembly member in her own locale. But she looks at that 2 million naira. For starters, sorry guys, I spilled my drink. She looks at that thing for starters and she goes, how do I start? Where do I even start from? But now that she knows that there's no barrier, she will come out and there will be a level playing field, most likely, because she also has to politic. She has to play the game. But once you put it at that price, it's knocking off a lot of people. And that's why I said, when this issue of 100 million came out, and I'm repeating it now, it is immoral. 40 million from PDP is immoral. It is wrong. It is just these parties showing us that it is business as usual for them. It is a money-making venture. What the APC is doing is that they're going to gather all this money and use it to run their election. They know that they don't have access to the funds of the country like other parties used to, or they used to. Yeah. Now everybody's eyes is on the budget, who spent what where. Yeah. So all of this 100 million is to fund the election. Mm-hmm. It's not about screening anybody. It's basically to fund the election. Some of the people paying 100 million know that they will never be president. Mm-hmm. But it's horse trading. It's leverage. Oh, I have 500 delegates and I paid 100 million. If you want my 500 delegates to work for you, you will give me X number of positions and blah, 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 blah. That's what's going to happen. A lot of horse trading, political horse trading and all. So, look, allow the women to start. And I'm glad they did it. It was as if they were listening to me. And I celebrated on my own. I was glad that happened. I put that aside. The 100 million, I repeat and I maintain, is immoral. In a country where everybody is struggling to get by. I know that globally, and I am not a dunce, I know that globally there is a squeeze. Even in America, people are complaining. In the UK, people are finding it hard to... So in Canada that we're shouting about, I have people in Canada telling you, Mom, it is not easy. We know. But what we're saying is that you live in a country where things are this tight. Yeah. And you're telling people that within your party, if they don't pay 100 million naira, they're not going to compete, which shows you that you're telling us that the value you placed on the form 4 years ago has more or less almost tripled. Yeah? And 8 years ago, it has quadrupled or whatever. What does that tell you? That your economy that you're supervising has also gone through that level of retrogression. Where's the sound coming from? You need to mute it. Okay. It's by your... You know? So, what we're saying in essence is that it's also the APC telling us that inflation is so bad that they have to jack up their prices because they know they need the money to run an election.
Let me explain quickly. I think you're right about the women involvement and all. My submission on that, Shola, is just this. Where did we get it wrong, really? Where did we miss the point? Then you go back to history. When we had localized politics, women were at the forefront. Interestingly, they were. Okay? You will recall a woman who stood firm and faced the British colonial masters all by herself. You understand? We had movements of women, you get? And I also believe that something happened along the line that must have, brought them out. There was a small forum on a radio station once, many years ago, and one of the women, she was a market leader. I can't remember, trying to get her name now. And she came and said that she noticed that they had a movement, women movement, in, I think, Ogun State or your state, and suddenly the women dissolved. They stopped coming for the meetings. And we asked her why did they said, our husbands, you people hold meetings late at night, and your meeting time starts 10 o'clock in the evening and wouldn't end until like 4 or 6 in the morning. Your husband would just tell you, choose one. Either you choose politics or you sit at home. It was culturally defeatist, very traditionally bad, okay? So we lost those things, those period. Now, we are not still the same set. I always look back and say, thank God we are not another country that marginalizes and says women cannot go to school or girls can't go to school. When we had those ladies coming out from school, okay, and mixing up with men, they even became more vocal and highly more intelligent. And we're actually in the forefront of, dissecting the issues around Nigeria. We give it to them, right? Somebody said, a woman told me that, do I know why she never argues over, she finds it very demeaning to talk about what a man can do, a woman can do better. And I said, why? She said, Tokumba, simply because the first thing you put in your brain is you want to compete with a man.
Yeah.
Competition comes and drives
my issue.
your focus, which is very, very wrong. And
just do your own thing.
Just do your
exactly.
thing.
That's
do
it.
your
That's
thing.
it for me.
And that is the truth over time. You say, right, do they have to pay? Do they not have to pay? You get, that's a different matter. But there's something Shola picked on. The 100 million is morally corrupt. It's not even bad. The 100 million
is really
no, it is the truth. It is the truth.
Okay.
Because everything you said earlier also comes to fore. That how do I recoup this 100 million? How do I get it back?
Yeah.
5 people put this money for me together for me. If I don't satisfy them by putting their wives and their children in specific high points, what would happen?
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
You know,
so if we open politics to bargaining.
Again, still staying with the APC's 100 million presidential nominee charges, 100 million naira. How much is the salary of a president every month? Multiply it by 12 by 4 and tell me why you should be paying 100 million. Yeah. How much is the salary? How much is the president's salary?
3.5 million.
Multiply 3.5 by 12. I'm waiting.
I'm not good at multiplications.
The look is open out already.
Oh yeah, I know.
Shola, you have a point. It
That's
is the truth.
That's what I was putting out.
All you're just telling us.
No, it is the truth. You have a point. You have a point.
Because
You have a point. A big one.
168 million.
thank you. So
That's X the.
So if a
For 4 years.
if a president earns 168 million over a period of 4 years, that's all he should earn.
Yes.
That's all he should earn.
No, you know that
Expected.
That's all he should earn.
No,
That's in cash.
that's-
That's what you should earn.
That's all he
In
should
cash.
earn.
Extra codes we understand.
Okay.
Extra code is not supposed to be income.
Income.
No,
yes.
it's
Okay.
not.
You're supposed to
Yeah.
spend it.
Spend
It's
this,
not.
yes.
Yeah.
That's all he should earn. 168 million.
Yeah.
And he has already used 100 million to buy from. Now, show me the president that doesn't have a family. Oh, he's going to live for free in
Yeah, he's
Aso Rock.
living for free.
Okay, what about his other expenses? His children will go to school for free, abi?
Yes.
Are all Nigerian children going to school for free?
Apparently.
It is immoral. It is down to
I'm
immorality.
not going to tell you.
Do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
do,
The
Shola.
Olupo should not come to the
No,
terms that
my-
it is wrong in all facets.
Olupo.
It's beyond the party
I don't
thing.
think I
It's
agree.
ru-
I
it rubs
agree
off
with it.
on
I,
our economy.
I-
the
it
only,
rubs
no,
off on-
I'm not saying that it's not a lot of money. I know. I still hold the ground that everybody that plans to pay it agreed to it, and the minute they agreed to it, good luck to them. That's what I see. That's the way I see it.
Shouldn't there see? I think one of the things that we realized is that whether we like it or not, what we are talking about here came out on a very large scale with the Lagos scenario, the imbroglio that happened between Ambode and Tinubu. And I'm going to make you understand this better.
Okay.
During that time, there were a lot of things that we heard about Ambode being what he is and all of that. At some point, he understands where he came from, and perhaps he's trying to now make that place look dirty. If you know you're coming from a position where you didn't earn, it came on a platter, somebody had found you worthy. Maybe based on your antecedents, some of the things you've done in the past, like, okay, let me use you, because that's always been the norm. Okay? And somehow, you found that place where you came from as a place where it's not right, or you're seeing that place as a place where there's a lot of immorality in it, then there's a problem somewhere. That's the same case I'm seeing with this whole money thing. Party in Nigeria, I have come to this realization that party in Nigeria seems to want to hold sway in the running of, or in governance. No matter how good you are, no matter what your perspectives are to issues that you think, well, let me apply my level of being, of humanity, let me be humane. They will tell you, you can't do that too. Don't forget that Babalagbaja did this. I said, but we are supposed to do this for the people.
Nah.
That's the same thing, Dolupo. It has a semblance of that. And that's what I'm saying about when you put so much out and you tell us and you want me to take that home, that it's a party thing. That party thing is what is killing Nigerians. That party thing, it is what is affecting the polity. That party thing, it is what is not allowing for growth. Because I want to satisfy some person because it's a party thing.
I agree.
I understand the party thing, but we should not be too wasty on this party thing.
I think I
should
agree
be
with
too
what
weighty.
you're saying. I get what you're saying, But the unfortunate part, again, to just cap it all up, is because these parties, the APC and the PDP, I will go back to the fact that, sadly, they are the ones that have the structures. The Showoras of this world can come out. The Mogalus of this world. Yeah, by a stroke of luck, somebody can decide to. But the truth is, do they even have the structures on ground? Do you have representation in every single local government, every ward in the country, that you're sure that somebody somewhere is, every single ward, somebody is voting for you? We're a country of over 200 million people.
They don't. Okay.
Do you have it? You don't. Are you working towards it? Most of the time, they're not. So, it's these people that are paying these monies, that have these structures, that are the ones that are going to do it. That's the way. Okay. I don't. It's not even the way I see it. It is what it is.
Okay, so it's going to boil down to: are we ready to have more party formations now?
I don't even think people are ready. I don't even think people are ready.
Just two parties formation.
For me personally,
because the structures matter a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't even think that they need. Everybody needs to collapse into these two parties.
Personally, I have always been an advocate of just a two-party system, the way they have it in America. And my position is very simple. And there was a time I had an opportunity in one of my postgraduate program I did. It was about impact of ethnic militancy on Nigeria's national security architecture.
Wow.
And while I was doing the research, I came to, because it opened me up to a lot of things. Maybe one of the, because I highlighted in some of the findings and recommendations that it was pretty difficult for me to get information, intel now, on happenings, besides the things that I see from the news, which could be anything.
Yeah.
And like they say, there are three sides to every story.
Yeah.
There's the truth standing somewhere. There's the position of the army or whatever it's the force, and position of those that are the victims.
Yeah.
Now, I want to speak from the position of the victims more, because that's my own. That's my concern. That's my
that's
worry. That's one of the things that brought the need for me to look into that aspect of our economy. It's a big issue, and I didn't get that much, because those that will make it easy. That's why I said something recently on one of my posts. I said, you see, one of the most difficult things in trying to judge someone is not by the answers of that person which you give it. Or if I want to get something about you, Dolupo, if I ask you a question, if you give me answers, I may not still be comfortable about the answers, but I can easily tell you from the position of the things by the question you ask me. So I can easily judge when you ask me questions. I can say where you are going and what your person is, your ideology as a person, as an individual, your intention. So I wanted to be so sure of the intentions of the army and all of this. Now, I've had the story of people saying that the army, they are not being managed well, even though they're under so-called GCFR. And that he has the better to say, okay, as a grand commander, go and do this, just like we expressed in OD Town. A lot of persons owed Obasanjo or held him to ransom.
Yeah.
We should have done this on a democratic position that I know. But Obasanjo needed to do what he did at that time, not because it was needed in the democratic setting, but it was an important tool, a way to tell them know that I'm still in charge. It's better. We didn't sit down that Buhari. And a lot of persons called this blow. I said, Obasanjo will charge you for genocide and all of that. We didn't hear anything after that time. The reality of that then is what is happening now. If Obasanjo had not done, you can imagine what would have happened then. Now we are beginning to see. What I'm making you understand here is that sometimes justice, yeah, they say it should be preserved, but I think that should be preserved however necessary. If we want to make Nigeria work, whatever it is that we can do that is needed. I don't want to conform with the books. Don't tell me that book, this is what Constitution says. At this point, initially, just like he has actually said, we need to bring up some things to make that thing we want to see work, because we just have to apply it, and that's how to do it. That's the way I see it. The two-party system, we've seen it was going to work. We are talking about Nigeria's most, fine, the most, the best, what's it called now, electioneering process. Was way back in 1993. Before then, we were having several parties, what's it called, NCN, and all that. But we said, let's try this part, and it worked well, and we saw it. It was really easy. If you're not here, you are here. That's what we should see. That's
really?
Yes.
Really interesting that you're dropping now, and I'm very encouraged. I'm very happy. I'm very inspired too. Because really, when we started with having 32 parties, you remember, we had
about 96 a few years ago.
That, you understand?
2015.
And somebody advised, I said, look, why don't you just let them maintain their structures and build it so we can be big when it comes to democracy and all.
Yes.
But immediately after that happened, they all conscripted. And some even they shut them down because they said they were using their father's houses for secretariat in states, interesting stories we heard. But they discouraged that and then brought everybody together to a two-party. Now I'm now saying that if you want us to follow the two-party system, which is okay, let's go on, right? There must be, you should introduce midterm elections. People don't sit down and cross their legs anymore. It's no longer business as usual. Midterm elections will let people rate you, reevaluate your performance before you get to the real elections. So you can't sit down you can't be there for 4 years and nobody evaluates you after 2 years. I mean, we go to school.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have midterms.
We have.
Let them do midterm let it.
And we explain whatever it is they've done.
We'll see.
If you have not done well the first 2 years, your people can say thank you very much.
But we
You
can
have
exit.
done enough.
You've done enough.
You've done enough, yeah. And talking about this. Wow, our time is really fast spent. The APC, still talking about the APC. There's now a new guideline that is going to make, especially ministers, a lot of ministers that have come out to want to be president, talking about the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amici, the Minister of Labour, Chris Ngige, and now the Minister of State for Education. They would have to resign in the next 24 hours, 72 hours, or forget their ambition of being president. And why? Do you know that according to the electoral law, as much as there's a back and forth about it, still the section 82 subsection 12, 84 subsection 12, talking about whether they should resign or not.
Yeah.
Whether that is one. The other part is also that for you to, if you now want to contest, if they even allow you and you want to contest, you have to resign about 30 days before the primaries that you want to contest in. And as of, we know that the APC primaries is May 30th. So, looks like some people have to leave, let's know where
in Nigeria,
if the people are paying 100
in
million.
Nigeria, sorry, we call it katakata, we bust. Okay? People don't know how to exit seats. And it plays out generally in our lives, culture, and attitudes over time. Even when your ministry was found wanting in 1 or 2 areas, you knew what you do at that time. Just take a walk and take a step
But now
aside.
they don't have a choice because if
now,
you don't, you will not participate in the primaries.
What I'm saying now we are saying the same thing. Just imagine. Now I'm saying that here and now, the Constitution has established that this is what
has to be done.
Mm-hmm. Okay? People still foot drag.
Oh yeah, they will foot drag till the very end. Oh yeah.
Drag. It is in this. They will still foot drag.
See, it's end of the month. Some people want to collect salary. At least you collect that last month's salary for you. It's very interesting though. And before we go, actually, there's news coming from talking about the suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police, Abba Kyari. Now, there's two sides to the story. First, Federal High Court in Abuja has today fixed June 2nd for hearing of his extradition suit filed by the Attorney General of the Federation. So it looks like his extradition drama is happening faster than he anticipated, or maybe he didn't anticipate he was going anyway, but it looks like he might be going somewhere. Also, the NDLEA does not seem to want to be out of his case yet, as the NDLEA has now come up that they have marked 6 houses and a plaza that supposedly belongs to Abba Kyari, a police officer. It says it has marked the property situated in Maiduguri for investigation. The 2-story plaza, Assurance Plaza, located along the Giwa Barracks Road, has about 100 stores. 100 stores. A police officer.
Anytime this thing comes up, I want to run away without saying much.
I'm telling you.
Because I don't understand it. Now, when things like this happen, we always go for the henchman. We want to kill him, establish different things. It's in order. He has to face the music. if found guilty, he has to be exported, if at all, let him go face the music. But we leave it alone. It's not the first time this is happening to an institution of such. We sit down, after it's gone, the guy is gone, everything dies down, back to not business as usual, we keep quiet. No. Right now, there should be a reset to be done about how that thing was possible within the institution of the Nigeria police. We have to go back and find out how did this happen, you understand? If it has to be restructure, change people, move people, take them back to training school. Let the I don't want to use expert, let the retired police officers who we let along the line to be competent, come back, take them to the classrooms and let them come and teach them again. And re-evaluate them. For me, that's the game. Because this thing will go and the story will die and we'll pick another person in the next 2 or 3 years.
And it will be so unfair.
Yeah.
It will be so unfair. Number one, as a student of international law, I find it very, very bad. It's disgraceful. It is, I don't know what to call it, because every time, it's unfortunate, I've not been on Twitter for a while. I just got myself back on Twitter like 3 days ago, after a long while. And when this thing...
You have not missed much.
I've actually missed a lot.
No, you got your sanity. You got your sanity. Yeah.
Because I would have done a thread on that particular case and what it means national. Simple and very succinctly. That man, all this we are doing back and forth we are doing, it is not allowed. We are just being political about it. It should have actually had this case dealt with outside the confines of Nigeria. Because many of the things he did, it's like... I see it's beyond borders. That's the word.
But it's just one of the cases against him that is beyond borders. He
I know.
has cases in Nigeria as well.
Yes, the one that is beyond borders seems more. It's a direct. You can have a direct approach to it, and you can easily be sentenced. Let him start from there first. Then while you work on whatever it is that, because I know Nigeria will take a while. You know how justice system is there. You always struggle, but let him face that music first. But the idea is that Nigerian government will have him settle this one first before he goes there, and they know what they are doing. Let's be sincere with ourselves. What is Godfrey Onyema doing here? He's the Minister of Foreign Affairs. What is his own role in this case? He should speak more. He should speak more in this case. He's not saying anything. We are leaving everything within the confines of the law. No, let him as an international person speak. What does it mean? All these things does not represent Nigeria very well. Yeah. And to have somebody who's supposed to be the custodian of our law at the heart of this, it's disgraceful. You don't have any other name you call something like this. It's disgraceful.
Well said.
It is. So
it's disgraceful.
News just came out now, as before we were about to, I was going to talk about it now. The Senate has officially passed a bill seeking to amend the Terrorism Prevention Act of 2013. And one of the major things that he amended is it is now officially a crime to pay ransom to kidnappers.
I'll leave this one. I'll leave for those that are before me.
When are we closing?
I'll leave this for those that are before me.
What does that mean?
Esther, please do not shut you. Don't shut you. You heard?
Okay, I honestly do not understand these people's reaction. I don't understand you people's reaction.
Okay, so you pass a law that outlaws the payment of
ransom.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot guarantee that people will not be asked to pay ransom in the next 30 minutes. And the Nigerian police is doing a great job. The Nigerian military are doing an amazing job. But they cannot cover the entire Nigeria. You cannot track all the lines. You do not know who is going to ask who to pay ransom at any time. You cannot even tell us that some of your members have not paid ransom and will not pay ransom tomorrow. So if we're going to pass laws, we must not just pass laws that will criminalize something without providing a solution. What solution has your law done? So what you're saying is that someone pays ransom because they do not have a choice. You will still arrest them and prosecute them, but you did not protect them.
I like that.
Before
situation.
you pass laws,
it's been done. It's been done, Shola. It's been done.
Anyway, talking about that on the way out, NDLA has proposed
you pay ransom, you don't pay ransom, they still kill this victims. They kill them. They collect money and kill them.
They should be testing all these people for drugs.
Which people?
NDLA is
Methamphetamine.
that you should be testing people for drugs, because maybe that test is really, it's really
but on a lighter note, I have a problem because it was quite specific. When I saw the video, the man was he was actually mentioning particular drug, and I was like, maybe it is something that reigns supreme amongst them. I don't know.
There is a gist that I heard yesterday.
So I don't know.
Anyway, let's call be going.
It's a gist.
Let's be going.
Let's be going. It's not me that you will hear.
It's a gist. Let's talk about it.